All right, we're ready to go and insert our logo into our code, our HTML code, and get them under control with some CSS. By the way, just a quick aside, the file that we're left with here inside Photoshop, in the real world, oftentimes I'll save this guy. I'll just use file save as and then save him, in my case, as a logo.psd. So in other words, I'll hang on to the original Photoshop version of the logo. But I think for now, I'm just going to close out of this guy. We don't need him. And when prompted, I'm just going to say don't save. So this is back into the high resolution layout, which we'll come back to in an upcoming exercise. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to my code now. Okay, so head over to your coding application. I hope that you still have styles.css open there, as well as index.html. So if you don't have those files open, go ahead and open them now, okay, inside your coding application. Let's look after the HTML first. So inside the HTML file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and look for my header. There he is right there up towards the top, okay? And it's inside the header where I want to go and insert the logo, of course, right? The logo sits inside the header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my cursor in here, all right? And I'm going to insert my logo as follows. Open angle bracket IMG for image, space SRC for source, equals, and then in quotes, whatever you had called your logo file. So I called mine logo.png, close quote, close angle bracket, like so, okay? Now, this path, this source that we have here is what's referred to as a relative path. So if I had saved my logo into, for example, an images subdirectory inside my work files folder, inside my website folder, then I'd have to make sure to include that here, okay? But both index.html and logo.png reside inside the same folder, so I think I'm safe here. All right, good stuff. So that was the first step, getting the logo into the HTML file. Go ahead and save index.html. If you want, you can head back to your browser and refresh, Control or Command R, and you should get a logo now sitting inside your header, which is awesome. Okay, now if you didn't get a logo inside your header, just double check your code, double check the path, the source to your logo as well, okay? Watch your capitalization as well. Now here's the deal though, the only thing that I want to do here is I want to get this logo under the control of some CSS, as I had mentioned a moment ago, because in the original Photoshop layout, the House of Horrors logo was actually kind of dripping down into the main navigation menu. And as you can see here, he's kind of shoved way up to the top and also to the left there. So I want to get a little bit of spacing in there and kind of set him up the way that we had him back inside Photoshop. Okay, so again, the idea here is we want to try and replicate what we had created inside Photoshop as closely as we can. Thankfully, it's not too difficult. I'm going to head back over to my coding application. I'm going to head into styles.css. I want to make sure that I'm in my high resolution media query. So that's all the way down at the bottom of the external style sheet. And let's see, I'm going to look for my redefined header. There he is. And I'm going to go and insert a new rule just beneath this guy. And this is going to be a compound rule. So what I'm going to say is, all right, if I have an image inside a header, something like this, then I want to do some stuff to it. Okay, so once again, sort of this idea of conditional formatting, right? So an image inside a header. Not all graphics, not all images inside my layout, just images that reside inside the header, okay? And here are the properties that I want to apply to the image that appears inside the header. I want to say margin left, and I'm going to try 20 pixels. That should be fine. And I also want to put some space on top. So I'm going to go margin hyphen top, and I'm going to say 10 pixels. That's it. That's all I want to do here. Okay, so just a little bit of space on the left and a little bit of space on top. Go ahead and save your external style sheet. Head back to your browser and refresh, and there we go. So now we have a gap of 20 pixels on the left, 10 pixels on top. The gap of 10 pixels on top pushes the logo down into the main navigation area, which is what I wanted. So you can fiddle around with the spacing values, by the way, the margin values that I had used here, but I'm pretty happy with that. That looks pretty darn cool. So there we go. There's the logo in place. Now let's move on to the slideshow.